And we are back. It's your man Odell for Odell's Roundtable. I've been sitting here still talking with Rahiem Shabazz, and it's crazy. We're just talking about, all the things you did as far as early time to be a journalist, right? Filmmaker and things of that sort. And it's funny because we just started talking about like marketing and branding and stuff like that because on one hand, you have to be talented. You have to do the work. But you have to be able to tell people about it. And everything like that.
That's where the marketing comes in.
Yeah. Speaking about that, because sometimes I think people feel a little subconscious about marketing something because they feel like, oh, I don't want to cheapen it, or I don't want to keep putting my message out. I don't know how necessarily put their message out. Like, but you have a sound message, and you stick to it. Like, what was your marketing plan when you started doing your films?
I think initially. Before I was doing the film, I was trying to brand my name, right? And then at first I was apprehensive about it because I was like, I don't want to just keep promoting myself.
Exactly, that's what I said. Everybody feels like
it feels like I'm spamming people.
Right.
It's
a delicate dance.
Yeah, I scaled back from that, and it just got to the point where other people would do it for me, But what I like to tell people is that when you get into the game, your name, your brand, your reputation is everything. And you have to market that, and you have to hold your brand dear to you. Don't water it down. Don't let nobody come in and compromise your brand because it takes you 3 to 5 years to build up your name for your brand.
Right.
But it could take you 5 seconds to destroy it. Especially with the advent of social media.
Yeah.
You do one thing wrong and it's caught on camera, it's out of here, baby.
Out of there.
Yeah, you going viral. That's the end of your company, your brand, especially if you're black.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're Gucci and you're Prada, you just apologize.
You just apologize and keep it pushing.
Yeah, and you just got $2 million worth of free marketing and everything is good. But if you're trying to build a brand from the bottom up, you have to really be strategic about it, from everything from your logo to your execution to, people that you have affiliated with the brand. And everything.
Well, also, too, I think it's a matter of everything lining up. I mean, I had Kareem Latif in here, Jay Black and I was just talking about him recently, but, he works with Martell Cognac and the Fader magazine, and he was just talking about how, like, a lot of times when you have this facade, you have to go around and you have to keep it.
Yeah.
And you have to keep this thing up, and until you really dissect and say what you are about, like you need to be about that at all times. You need to be about that, like you said, from a social media standpoint, from when people see you in person, like having this persona or this acting role, because we do see that, right? We know people who, like, on one hand on social media, they're saying one thing, they're about this and pro this, but then
in real life, it's crazy. I really didn't realize how big my brand and my name was until people will like introduce me at events and lectures and stuff like that. And sometimes I'll be sitting there and I'll be listening and I'll be like, y'all talk about me like that? And then I have to really humble myself and sit back and really realize, I done did a lot. I done touched a lot of people. I done been in, some very influential circles. I done made some things happen. I done been all around the world. And then it's just like, all right, that's who I am now.
That's who you are.
So.
But you're living true to it. But speaking of that, I want to go into that, speaking about some of the things you've done and things like Elementary Genocide, right? Where you decide to put together that documentary film. And like you said, you came from a world of like the hip-hop journalism and things of that sort. So all kind of things that could be flashy, that can catch people's eye, things that are going to get immediate response, right? But you decide to make this documentary which talks about the school-to-prison pipeline, which is not necessarily a sexy topic per se, or even, especially when you first started doing it. And once again, though, you say, I'm going to go all in, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, the top form, knowing that you might not get the same kind of response. But was it the fact that you really just want to tell the story about the school-to-prison pipeline and it just wasn't being done in a proper way?
It was a lot of variable factors. I wanted to do something different, something that wasn't done before. I wanted to do a subject matter that was near and dear to my heart.
Right.
So when I was in college, I had did a paper,
Okay.
and we looked at 8 neighborhoods in New York City, and we seen that 85% of the inmates came from these specific neighborhoods.
85% of the inmates came
Yeah.
from a certain neighborhood. Wow.
Yeah, in 67 jails in upstate New York, 85% of them come from Pacific neighborhoods. So we looked at the reading scores, the reading level,
Right, right.
and the contributing factors that leads to crime. And so this got me on the road to discovering what I did about how they use 3rd and 4th grade reading levels to determine how many prisons they're going to build in the next 10 to 15 years.
Right.
So that started it, and I knew it was a powerful subject matter. I didn't really, I knew it would resonate with the people, but
Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to be that big.
Well, I mean, also too. I mean, I think the fact that when you start talking about these numbers and about the 3rd grade level tests and all these different things and how they're building prisons based on these numbers, I mean, people. When you start talking about the children, you start talking about how like we already know, as black folks a lot of times we already got a lot of decks against us anyway.
absolutely.
We got a lot of things already stacked against us. But then you're talking about people who are not even in junior high or high school already being targeted to fund a prison population, man.
And the good thing about doing the documentary is that there was over 1,500 legislations that either was proposed or that was passed that tried to dismantle the school to prison pipeline or tried to stop it from happening all throughout the United States. And this was after the documentary. I'm not saying the documentary made this happen.
Right.
But I'm sure
It
had
helped put a light on it.
Yeah. And then we also learned out of that was that the school to prison pipeline doesn't begin in the 3rd or 4th grade. That's where they're able to track it. It actually begins when they step foot in a kindergarten class and sometimes preschool. So, it was a lot to learn with just doing that documentary. The research went deeper, so that's why it was a need for a 2 and then a 3. And some people are trying to get me to do 4, but I'm not trying to do that.
Right.
But one of the highlights of the moment was
You speak with a lot of people in the documentaries.
Was Tracy Syfax. He's an individual that's in the documentary, and he was nominated in 2014 for a Champion Change Award from the Obama administration. He got invited to the White House for his work on the school to prison pipeline. And they mentioned the documentary on the White House's website. And then in President Obama and his State of the State of the Union address. He spoke about the school to prison pipeline. And he actually said school to prison pipeline. So a lot of people,
something that we the grassroots.
A lot of people, their first time hearing it was in my documentary. And most people was like, "Come on, Rahiem, that sounds like an urban myth." You think people are really sitting down calculating these school scores? But after the State of the Union speech, everybody was calling me like, "Yo, he's talking about your documentary," and I'm like, "Man, I ain't talking about the documentary. He's talking about what I was trying to tell y'all that's going on." So that it was a real highlight moment. And I actually was invited to the White House. Because Tracy was, you able to bring somebody. But I don't think I passed
the security clearance.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I was like, man, they didn't get back to me in time or something.
It's all good, man. But I just want to point out the fact that, for one, like you said, going into it, it could be something where somebody would think like, man, nobody gonna support no documentary about school to prison pipeline. But the thing is that, for one, you said, okay, I'm focus on the message, and I think I know this information needs to get out to my people. But then secondly, too, is you like, I'm not going to half-ass it. I'm going to put together quality documentary. I'm going to get the best of names. And then, like you said, when you put it out, then you got the response. And so a lot of times, two people go into things kind of, just half-ass, and they don't really put the effort into it.
When you putting up that bread, you better put all you got in it. You know what I mean? So that was another crucial moment. It's just like, how are you gonna fund this?
How you gonna fund it? Because people think this. They think you just walk out and just do a documentary. They think you just walk out and do a film like there's no money involved.
Yeah, I had to put up some some major bread to get that done. fortunately, I was able to make it back.
Yeah.
And that's what helped me to do 2. And then
Right.
2 helped me to
You
do
do
3.
3.
And then 3 helped me to be sitting here with you. So
Hey,
yeah,
I
you gotta,
appreciate it.
you know, and that's one thing. A lot of times, you know, there's individuals that have great ideas and they want to execute them ideas,
Yeah.
but you gotta have money, you know. And a lot of people don't understand that, you know, freedom ain't free,
Nah?
you know. So you gotta, if you want to get bread, you gotta understand the alchemy of making it. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
gotta have dough.
Gotta have dough. But also too, it makes me want to highlight the fact when we talk about media, right? We talk about filmmaking and just corporate things that are back. But we talk about being independent, and that is a big thing to want to go out there on your own, because you easily, especially with the connections you made with the journalism world, with magazines, it's like that. You easily could have just slid into something, probably maybe like at a VH1 or MTV or something like that. But you decided to, you know, stake your claim and go independent. But you get more of a joy from that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Whenever you could make your own hours and you know do what you want to do, travel.
Right, right.
But it's
work.
It's harder to a degree, because what I like to tell people is if you work a traditional 9 to 5, you know the 40 hours you're gonna work a week. You're
Right.
working 9 to 5.
Right.
I don't know the 80 hours I'm gonna work. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
It's just some days I'm up 6 o'clock in the morning working.
Yeah.
Some days I ain't working at all. I'm just chilling, relaxing. But you at liberty to do that. You know,
Right,
if someone
right.
called me and say, "Listen, we doing this tomorrow in L.A." Ain't nothing stopping me. I'm going. It's a go. But when you work for somebody, you can't do that. You don't have the liberty to do that.
Right.
So you know, it's good and bad with it. You
Get
know,
bad with everything, right?
yeah. And I've been, you know, I've been home, 18 years now?
Yeah.
Out of those 18, I want to say about 15, I probably was working for myself.
Man, that's testament. Also, too, I love the fact, because once again, I go back to how we always love to talk about what we can't do and the reason why we can't do something. And you, like you said, you came home and you said, "I'm just going to put this work in.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm not going to take the no for an answer, and you're going to do these things for yourself." Man, independent media. There's also too, just talking about, you know, a lot of things been going on just in the world right now where
It's crazy
you know,
right now.
Well, we're, you know, I don't like to date the show, but at the same time, I just want to talk about the fact that, you know, it's about what we put money into, right? And I know I read an article, or it was an interview. They interviewed you for Black Enterprise. You were, one of the phrases you were talking about when you were talking about building your own thing, is the phrase, I think, what was it? We spend money we don't have to buy things.
that we don't need to impress people that we don't know and
Yeah.
that don't even like us.
And I think
Yeah,
that's just so
absolutely.
telling, especially in these times we having right now. Like, when did we stop losing value in our own stuff, man?
When we integrate it,
Yeah. Things like that start
you
happening.
know, even, you know, a lot of people with recently, you know, Martin Luther King holiday, and they celebrate the man, but they celebrate him as a integrationist.
Right.
But in his last days, he said
yeah.
that, you know,
Yeah.
he believed that he sent his people into a burning house.
Also, too,
And-
talked about coming and collect that check.
Yeah,
A lot of
you
people
know,
talk about that speech.
and what we have to do is we have to support black business. You know, a lot of people, they talk about boycott, right? I'm beyond boycotting.
Right.
It's an economic embargo going on over here.
Oh, there you go.
Like, if it ain't black, I'm not really buying it. You know what I mean? Now, certain things you have to.
Right,
you
right,
know?
right.
But other than that, like, you know, in the last couple of years, everything from the drop cleaners I go to,
Yeah.
to, you know, the restaurant, the bank, my bank, Citizen Trust, Black Bank.
Right.
And, you know, everybody that I hire or that's around me, you know, we gonna keep it black.
Yeah.
We got to. And, you know, there's a lot, especially like what's going on with the clothing industry. There's a
Yeah.
lot of black designers out
That's the
here.
thing about it too. It's funny, man, because all these things were happening with all these clothing designers, and like there's a brother out of New York, Ramomar. I wear a lot of his shirts. He has really these high-end shirts, right? And it's
Yeah.
funny. I remember.
I think I seen it. You posted on your IG, right?
Yeah, I post on my IG. And
When
it's
you
fun-
say high end, how much?
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, his shirts might be about $80 to $100.
Too much for my blood. Nah, that's reasonable. That's
but what's
reasonable. I spend
yeah,
that.
but what's funny though is that, you know, very nice shirts, quality shirts. His brothers train everything like that. But I would see people, they were like, oh man, you spent $80 for this shirt. And I'm like, these are the same people that spend $500 on a Gucci belt.
Yeah. Or $50 on a T-shirt.
Exactly. And I'm like, this brother, is making these designs. I mean, with Egyptian things like that. I mean, great designs. And I'm like, okay, I've been rocking with this brother for a while.
Yeah, I seen that on your IG.
Yeah, the brother down there in Florida, my man Council. He has a company called Hustle Clothing, and this is all before things happened. I met the brother. I like his clothing. Makes good T-shirts, not as expensive as my man Ramo Mark, but still high quality stuff. And it's funny because I had just posted something about him, and I said the same thing. I said, listen, people are talking about these people been around. Yeah. It's just about supporting them.
You know, Jay-Z, when he had the rock brunch, right? You see the picture of him with the powder blue suit that he got on?
Yeah.
That was a black designer that did
I
that.
heard about
21-year-old Nigerian.
Yeah.
So this is what I like to tell people, right? Especially this generation. We living in a world of information.
Yeah.
This phone right here, they got apps. That's just strictly black stores.
Right.
You need your oven fixed, black oven fixer. You need a black plumber. You know what I mean? So anything you need, it's at your fingertips.
And this is circulating dollars, man. That's the thing about it. We need to circulate dollars to help fund different things like that.
Yeah. So we don't have to go to the open enemy for nothing.
Exactly.
And that don't mean that you can't do business with people that's outside of your immediate circle. But when you do business with them, you operate from a position of power. You know what I mean? Because you got to look at the reality of the world we live in. You know what I mean? You're going to encounter people, and all money is green. Yeah. But as long as you operating from a position of power, people going to be real respectful.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, especially that. Now, real quick, before we get to our last question, I always want to tell the people, how can they get in contact with you? How can they watch the film, purchase the film, all that good stuff? Talk to the people.
Well, I'm on social media. I'm on every platform, and it's at Rahiem Shabazz, and that's Instagram, that's Facebook, that's Twitter, and I'm even on Snapchat, even though I don't be on there like that. Now, my son got me on Snapchat, but yeah, I'm on Snapchat. I'm probably on there 3 times a year.
Okay,
but yeah, so you can catch me on there, and if you want to purchase the documentary, you can get it on Amazon. You also, for those that are interested in streaming it, you can go to Quali TV, and that's a network from a black sister that's out of D.C., and they call that the Black Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, she got thousands of movies that are phenomenal, some old, some new.
Right.
So you can catch it on there, or you could just go right to the website, elementarygenocide.com.
Elementarygenocide.com. That's great stuff. Well, I always like to end the show with this question as far as, like, what do you think is your key, or what would you say your best tips as far as building great relationships?
To be persistent, but there's a thin line between being persistent and being annoying. And I think that earlier on in my career that I wasn't as persistent enough. I had a rule of thumb, like, I'm going to call you twice, and if you don't get back to me, I ain't calling you no more. Okay. That ain't being persistent. That's ego.
It's ego. Okay, there you go.
So I think, there was opportunities when I was, in people's face and around certain people that maybe if I called, I would have gave them that one more phone call. Yeah. Some things probably could have happened. And I didn't do that. So you gotta, you just gotta network and meet people and follow back up. That's the main thing. Your follow-up game. Yeah. So just network and meet people and
be persistent too, man.
Be persistent.
That is so.
But don't be annoying.
But don't be annoying.
Don't be annoying.
I think that's words to live by. Listen, I'm very excited, very happy to have Rahiem here because one, like I said, is that he chose to take his skills and to put out a production. Highlighting something that is so needed, especially in our community, something that not a lot of fanfare behind it at times, but you got to a point because you put the time and energy behind it to, like you said, to one point where the president is now mentioning that tagline in the State of the Union address, but that never happens if you don't decide to go forward and really push the message. You're right, and staying focused on it because like you said, you can't water it down. If you had to water down the message or maybe taking something else and say, okay, I'm going to change it around. I'm not going to really talk about the school to prison pipeline. I'm going to dress it up in a nice words.
And people wanted me to do that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when I first sent out the artwork to a couple of theaters and a couple of distribution companies that were interested in the early stages, one of the things they said was, why you don't have a male and a female on there? I said, well, it's specifically being targeted, you know, to young black males. You know, I'm going to address that about the female in the second one.
Right.
Someone said that I should have a black and a white person on there to diversify it so it could reach more people.
Right, but it doesn't affect.
No, I'm speaking for black people. You
Right,
know what I
right.
mean? Race first.
Right,
So that's
right,
not
right.
going to happen.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was a lot of, you know, little different things where people want to come along and change the message.
You stay true.
Yeah, because you ain't put no money in this. You know what I mean? And that's another reason why sometimes it's not good to take money from people. Because now you got a partner, you got, especially if someone is not cut from the same cloth or not on the same wavelength as you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Your message can go totally left.
You got to stay clear on the message. I always talk about that as well. You got to be intentional. You have to know what your message is and stick to it.
Absolutely.
Man, so listen, I appreciate Rahiem, all the great work he's doing. Make sure you check him out. Also, make sure you check out Support Live Hip Hop Daily, not just Odell's Roundtable, but a lot of great shows. Make sure you support. Check out my producer here, Jay Black. Follow him on Instagram, Jabari Blackman. That's BLACKMOND. Follow me. I didn't even say follow myself.
That's right.
No marketing promotion, right? ArtbyOdell, that's ArtbyOdell on all social media. But like I said, there's a lot of great content coming out of here at Live Hip Hop Daily. And support my brother Rahiem Shabazz right here. And we out.
Peace.